Hello, my name is Kara Barkman, and in March I returned from 7 months of global service in Mexico with the ELCA's Young Adults in Global Mission, or YAGM program. Every year, the ELCA sends around 70 young adults between the ages of 21 and 29 to serve alongside our church companions in 10 different country programs, ranging from Madagascar to the UK to Argentina to Nepal. While I was serving as an English teacher at a local middle school, my friends and cohort members walked alongside our global partners in fields of environmental justice, congregational ministry, health and human rights, professional support, and education. Each person's YAGM journey looks different, but it always revolves around mutual accompaniment, compassion, and justice. As I'm sure you can assume, the 2019-2020 cohort had to evacuate our countries of service, ending our time with YAGM early. And while this was a significant part of my experience, it did not define my entire YAGM journey. I want to tell you a short story about how transformative this year was for me and for many YAGM alums. I always thought I knew what hospitality meant. I thought of the hospitality industry or restaurants and hotels. I thought of Southern hospitality, welcoming guests and hosting them for a meal. The Cambridge Dictionary even defines it as the act of being friendly to and welcoming guests and strangers. But I didn't fully understand the meaning of the word, at least not until August of 2019. When I arrived in Chicago for our initial orientation, I had, and I know this sounds cliche, so many hopes and dreams and expectations for what the year ahead of me would look like. On the morning my cohort left for Mexico, I stepped off the bus at O'Hare and fell to the ground, twisting my ankle as I went. In that moment, all of my expectations for that year came crashing down with me. I could barely walk through an airport. How the heck was I supposed to navigate the streets of Mexico City or my host community? Turns out, I sprained my foot and had to spend the next 2 weeks on crutches. Those first few days in Mexico, we stayed with a group of nuns. And while my cohort got to spend time walking around Mexico City and learning about culture and history, I got to sit in my room and eat lunch with Las Misioneras de Guadalupe. One of the days, I was on the verge of tears, upset at myself for my horrible Spanish, in pain because of my foot, and frustrated that I couldn't participate in the same activities as my cohort. In fact, that afternoon during lunch, I began to cry when I couldn't respond to the sisters. One of them came up to me, put a hand on my arm, and just hugged me. In that moment, I felt a huge wave of relief. Despite the fact that I was a stranger, I couldn't communicate well, and I was an emotional mess, these women welcomed me. They served me food, comforted me, brought me ice for my foot, and kept me company while my cohort was away. They welcomed me exactly as I was. Just a few days later, my cohort traveled to the small town of Tepoztlan, Morelos for a week of language classes and our first experience with host families. Immediately, my host mother, Elma, insisted on helping me navigate the stairs of the house. She caught spiders, brought my cohort member Amelia and I tea and coffee, and made us huevos a la mexicana. But one evening, while I was feeling a lot of pain in my foot, Elma sat me down on the balcony and said she wanted to give me a massage. In my broken Spanish, I tried to tell her, "You don't have to do that." But she sternly looked at me and told me that it is the best thing for me to just accept the massage. She then pulled out a literal bucket of herbs and massaged my foot. That evening, I realized just how much that massage helped me. I could actually lay my foot flat on the ground for the first time in a week. She didn't have to give me a foot massage. In fact, at first I felt really awkward and uncomfortable about it. But instead of being treated as an inconvenience, I was treated with radical hospitality. A few weeks ago, I reached out to the YAGM alum community and asked them how their ideas of hospitality had been transformed by their YAGM journeys. Liz, a 2018-19 Argentina alum, responded by saying, "Hospitality is when you drop everything to attend to someone who has come by, because nothing you are working on is as important as basic human connection. Hospitality is allowing the space shared between people to be sacred and unmarred by to-do lists and overtime." And Maddie, 1819 Senegal YAGM, said, It is ultimately an expression of unity and the commitment to the community we are a part of, which takes precedence over our individual selves. It is also raw and radical. True hospitality does not judge before being bestowed on one another or have any prerequisites. True hospitality is a way of loving others and creating belonging. 2018-19 Mexico alum Jenna joked about getting the Greek word for hospitality tattooed on her arm. Xenophilia, love to strangers. I thought I knew what hospitality was until I couldn't walk in a vulnerable place. Being vulnerable forcibly lessened my learning curve to accept help and be more open to this concept of radical hospitality. To me, radical hospitality is a sense of overwhelming welcome. It is wholly accepting people where they are and as they are, and providing them with a sense of belonging and love, no matter where they are from or what language they speak. It is treating everyone as holy. YAGM can be an extremely transformative journey. Minds and hearts are open to new experiences with communities who wholly welcome others with a sense of radical hospitality, building bridges and breaking down both literal and figurative borders as they go. If you want to know more about YAGM, please reach out to me via email or text. I would absolutely love to hear from you. You can also read more about the program on the website. Thank you so much for listening. Muchísimas gracias.